The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello everyone. How are you today? You're great? Yes, welcome to yet another show of Talking. And remember, this is GBS Talking Show, where we actually talk about real issues. We get guests who speak to us about their life stories and also to impact and also to engage so that we can become kings. As long as you're talking, you can become a king, okay? And as long as you're a king, you must keep talking, okay? So I am your host, Henry Minor, and this is Talking Show. Please, SMS line is 21144. You can also subscribe on YouTube, that is GBS TV Kenya, on Facebook, the same GBS TV Kenya. So thank you very much. Today we have prepared a special guest. Are you ready for him? Yes. Are you ready for him? Yes. So he has something very special that he actually wants to speak to you. And please help me welcome Peter Kimwere on stage with a big round of applause. Yes. Hello, Peter. Yes, salama sana. Very much welcome. Yes. So these are our audience for today. We also have audience back at home watching us. And we are privileged to have not only Peter himself, but also a mentor who can actually speak to us. So karibu sana. I hope you're well.
Thank you.
Yes,
Very
yes.
well.
Yes.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm a mind education specialist and have been at it for a while. And so I'm really glad to be here, to see all of you, looking so lovely. So I got involved in mind education several years ago, primarily because I realized that I wasn't feeling fulfilled, I wasn't feeling happy. So of course, after a while of living your life for so long, you have to think, what is it that I can do that can enable me to enjoy my life? So I got involved, then I got to know about mind education. And through mind education, it enabled me to learn how to be successful and how to be happy. So today I'm taking us through what the mind education program is. Because I know some of you may be interested in wanting to attend this program so that you can be successful and happy. Who wants to be successful and happy here? Okay. I'm seeing some of us are putting up our hands reluctantly. It looks like it's a gimmick. Ni kama mchezo wa paka na panya. A lot of times when people hear mind education, of course, what goes through their mind is what people are encouraged to avoid. For example, you'll find people being asked to avoid to aim too high because you know you've come from Sindio. So today we'll try and see what is it that we can be able to appreciate about mind education. So I'll take us through what is mind education and help us understand where has it come from. Because maybe most of us viewers, you haven't heard what mind education is. And you're wondering, what is this mind education? And also, I'll give you an idea of what's been happening globally. Okay, so mind education essentially is having the ability to create an avenue, kujenga njia that will enable you to be successful and happy. Okay, so it's very simple, very straightforward. So we all know that being successful is challenging, and being happy is also challenging. Can you imagine the combination? Being successful and happy. It's extremely challenging. Between you and me, I know you know somebody who is very successful. Sindio? Lakini yo mtu hajafuraha, hana furaha. And that's why you'll find one girlfriend is never enough. Have you ever seen such guys? Unawajua? Are they among us? So you can imagine, you're never satisfied with one girlfriend. Or like you're a girl, you're never satisfied with one. So, yes, you're successful, but are you happy? So, on the other hand, we know people, they're extremely happy, sindio? Very happy. Ukimwona amechangamka 24 hours, si kweli? Lakini he's not successful. Ukimuuliza umemaliza homework, guy. Okay? Yeah, so getting that combination is extremely difficult. Now we know somebody, I don't know that you know how many of us know Oprah Winfrey? Okay, I see a few hands. So do you know Oprah her origins, she comes from a very poor background. She was very poor. When she was young, she was molested. When she was young, she was not pretty. I mean, conventionally speaking. So you know, when we say conventionally speaking, tunajua demu mwenye ameiva. So, yeye alikuwa tu amekaa hivi hivi. Ni sawa? Now, can you imagine, she's been the richest woman in the world for the longest time. Okay? So, two things to note. One, she has a strong mind, and that's why she consistently makes good decisions, good business decisions, because akona a strong mind. And then she also has a strong heart. So that strong heart is one that enables her, hata akitusiwa, ako strong. So most of us I know here, mtu akikutusi, utakuwa tu down. Ni sawa? Wiki kama mbili. So in those 2 weeks, so much will have passed. So the opportunities that would have presented them to you, they've passed because ulikuwa umekatch. So that's Oprah. Another person we all know is Nelson Mandela. Okay, we all know Nelson Mandela. He's a person we know clearly with a strong mind and a strong heart. Alifungiwa jela for longer than most of you have been alive. And do you know when he came out what he said? Nimewasamehea. Can you imagine? What kind of a heart is that? It's a strong heart. So that's Nelson Mandela. Now, the crux of mind education. We all know about the wildebeest. Now, the wildebeest, every year they must migrate. So, picture yourself as a wildebeest. And, lazima uvuke nini? Mto. Na ukifikiria kuvuka mto, unafikiria nini? Crocodile. Sindio? And can you imagine, every year, the wildebeest does what? It migrates. Whatever happens, the wildebeest migrates. So, what I would like to just propose to you here is mind education helps us to overcome the greatest challenges that face us consistently. When the challenge presents itself, unasema, kaende. Okay? So you can see the wildebeest in the river. Na crocodile ndio hii. It continues moving. Sindio? It keeps moving. So what's the origin of mind education? Where did it come from? So we know of a country called South Korea. In South Korea, before 1950, it was a very poor country. It was extremely poor. Okay? Now we know, in 1950 to 1953, there was a war. So imagine that combination. Uko msoto, na unapigwa nge? Na bado unagongwa. So as in, what kind of combination? Wamekumaliza. Now, this country went through a very devastating time. So of course now we are trying to imagine, if it were you, somebody strangles you, puts you down, takes what little you have, sindio? Maybe the only thing I have is my shoes and my jacket. Ziende. Saa niko? It's a disaster. It can be a disaster. Now, as if that's not bad enough, South Korea, it has been devastated. It didn't, as you look, if you see on the screen, the country is surrounded by the seas. And then the only neighbor it has is North Korea. We all know North Korea, sindio? So now, they are unable to trade. Hawana meli za kuenda kutafuta kitu. Nothing. They have nothing. So when they looked at themselves, they have nothing. They have no natural resources. They are surrounded by, they have an enemy and the sea. So if it were you, what could you do? Kama ni wewe ungefanya nini? Uko chini, umenyongwa, uko uchi. Si most of us unasema tu, wacha niku. That's the easiest thing to do, tuseme ukweli, si ndio? It seems like the easiest thing. But then, something happened. The leaders had to take a position. They had to decide what's the best way forward. They took stock. Wakaanza kuchukua stock. What do we have? Ni nini tuko nayo? What do we have? Wanaangalia, wakaona, the only thing we have ni sisi. It's only us who are there. Okay? So they asked themselves, what can we do with these people? Because that's all we have. So they started off with the New Village Movement. And with the New Village Movement, one of the core pillars of the New Village Movement was the mindset education. Okay? The mindset education. Now you imagine, serikali ya Korea ilikuwa inapatia villagers, mnapewa resources, kila kitu, mnaambiwa mjijengee nini? Infrastructure. So like what you're seeing there, these are villagers building for themselves a bridge. Okay? Wanajijengea nini? Daraja. Okay? Now of course most of us in Kenya, you'll be very happy, sindio? If you are given resources, what will you do? Eh? Yeah, so I'm hearing many answers. Wengine wanasema watauza, wengine wanasema wataiba, biashara. Now note, of course, by the time people are coming together to be able to do something that is going to benefit everybody, those people have a different mindset. Okay, they have a different mindset. So of course now that says a lot about Kenya. Ama namna gani? Ati mimi nikipewa ni zangu kivya. Now this is the only problem. Think about it. Kama ni zako kivyako, it means you are the only one who is able to enjoy alone. Isawa? Can you imagine how lonely it is? You have things that you can enjoy, but you can't enjoy them with others. It's lonely. It's not lonely. It's lonely. Of course, most of us would like things, but sometimes we don't realize the impact it has on relationships. So sometimes, actually, that's what mind education helps us with. It helps us to learn how to work with what we have in a way that won't rob us of meaningful relationships. Okay, so that's the New Village Movement. Now, we all know the success story of South Korea. It's pretty clear. I know some of us here maybe unaka Samsung, maybe. Sindio, ama kwa hao, TV ni LG, for all we know, sindio. Now, this is a country that was poorer than Kenya. Can you imagine? It was, well, poorer than Kenya after the war. And today, they are selling LG. Wanauza magari. How many of us have seen the latest Hyundai? Ama Kia. Nice cars. Nice. In fact, I think at some point you guys should take a visit to the what do you call it? The showrooms. Za Hyundai na Kia. Mujione. Those cars are probably better than the Toyotas that we see. Believe me. Very nice. Of course, they're also selling trucks. Wanauza, what are they called? Prime movers. Hizi za kujenga barabara. Semiconductors. They're selling major electrical. Actually, if you go to most hospitals, the equipment that is being used there, the ultrasound, the, what are they called? MRI, they come from South Korea. Yeah. So, of course, we now are able to say with confidence that South Korea did something that has helped them to get to where they are. Yeah. So, the evidence is there. So, I want to just run through some numbers. I'll share only two for purposes of understanding. Imagine South Korea in 2017. In 2017, the average mfanyikazi wa kawaida. So mfanyikazi wa kawaida ni kama nani? Who is the kawaida worker? Ni kama mama mboga, mtu wa cook. Okay, let's use an example like okay, let's a cook. Sawa. Mama mboga. By the way, mama mboga wanna make domob for information. They make a lot of money, probably more than the cook. For all we know. So anyway, the cook in Kenya, Let's assume they earn 12,000 shillings per month, for example. Sawa, for purpose of discussion. In South Korea, the same cook earns 250,000 shillings per month. Naona ni kama mjashikanisha.
Clear.
I've noted. A cook in Kenya, if a cook in Kenya makes 12,000 shillings, a cook in South Korea makes 250,000 per month. Okay.
Ni kuhama, mraundi ni kuhama.
So of course, most of us are thinking, nitaenda South Korea lini? Okay. But now what we're talking about is it possible for us to be able, through mind education, to move to a place where you're successful and you're happy in a way that hata wewe mwenyewe unashangaa. Here you're comparing yourself with yourself. Ni sawa? When you compare yourself with yourself, you're able to see, when you start making milestones, you're able to tell, nyewe, I'm progressing. And one of the ways, of course, of comparing yourself with yourself is, you have your neighbors, sindio, mtaani. Mulikuwa primo pamoja, or maybe, but you are able to track the progress of each person. Si ni kweli? And you can tell, kama mse wangu anaweza fanya hivi, hata mimi naweza fanya hivi. Even make I'm able to progress and succeed this way. But now can you imagine if you're able to start succeeding twice, 4 times, 5 times more than them? So you can tell I'm doing something right. Sindio? So that's the South Korea. So of course Kenya, we have a challenge, isn't it? We have a challenge. So now here we are. The thinking is, if you can, you can. But if you cannot, you cannot. You cannot. Equally, 2 groups of people. The I cans and the I cannot. I cannot. And that's what you'll find in terms of success. Do you know there are some guys, kuna wasee, ukimwait kwenu, alafu uwekele dish, anasema yenyewe mimi sikulagi hiyo. Ni sawa? Yes, make. Have you seen such guys? Wewe unakulaga hiyo chakula lakini yeye hawezi kula. Okay? Unless the person tells us I cannot eat for medical reasons. Hiyo inaeleweka, si ndio? For medical reasons. Lakini akisema yenyewe si atukulagi omena. So we've seen people like that. Ama mjaiona. Lakini kuna wasee ukimwekelea anything, kwanza anauliza ni yetu ama ni ya watu wote ama ni si unawajua? Unawajua? Wewe anaweza make, si ndio? Ako na ile right attitude. And it's the same way with everything about our lives. It's the same thing. Let me give you another example. Kuna msee hapa, kuna dema ameona hapa. Hivyo. Lakini anaona hawezi make. Unaona? Hawezi make. Dema kimsmailia chini. Unaona? Meanwhile, kuna msee anamwambia, by the way, dema amekunoki. Wacha kunidanganya. Wacha kunidanganya. So, in his heart, the person has already decided that this cannot happen. So even if ugonga huyo mtu na nyundo, kukuwe na billboard, akinyia na kupenda, ID number yake ni, ukimwonesha cheki, paka ameka billboard. Hapana, hiyo ni ujinga. So what we are saying is the same thing in school. Some of us here, mnaambiwa, now is the period for maths. Ni sawa? Kai. Here. You can pass any exam. Any. You can pass any exam. Maths, A. Physics, chini, A. Gani ingine? Chem, chafua. Gani ingine? Bio, No, wait, please. Let's not get it twisted. Ni A ile ya alpha, sawa? So, naendelea. So we are saying if you can, you can. So what's the status of mind education globally? And bring this to your attention because we know that when something new is introduced, we need to see whether it's been done elsewhere. Are we the guinea pigs? Ama namna gani? Are they experimenting on us? So, just to give you a sneak peek, in 1995, somebody chose to start mind education. When he interacted with a young man, and he saw, by helping this young man is changing. And he's changing dramatically. So of course he was very happy. Why don't we formalize this? Can you imagine having a way of training somebody in a way that that person will learn and begin to start making milestones closer and closer to being successful and happy? Yeah, so we're talking about, it's happening in more than 90 countries all over the world, from America, Latin America, Australia, Africa, South America, where else I mentioned? Europe, where else? Asia. So essentially we are saying mind education is happening in every part of the world. Okay? And then we have more than 7 million people who have been trained. More than 7 million. Okay? So of course the chances of having more and more people being successful and happy is increasing every day. Who is being trained? We have people in government being trained. Government meaning government officials, the ones you know, yes. We have police being trained. We have civil servants being trained. Prison warders are being trained. Teachers are being trained. So of course you can imagine, if your teacher was trained mind education, it means your teacher would have treated you much better. Equally. Yeah, because there are some teachers who think kuchuna is the only way of motivating you. Sindio? Can I motivate you? Unaona? So you don't tend to feel motivated when you see the teacher. Ama namna gani? So mind education helps everyone who is doing their profession to be better at it. For example, where I work, there are guys I manage. Okay. Now, it's very easy for me to just use a whip. Equally. Enda, fanya, that sort of thing. But then, how successful do you think I'll be? Not very successful. Because when I'm not there, what will happen? They won't do it. Equally. So now, mind education has helped me to be able to help somebody see the need of doing it. So whether I'm there or not, they'll do it because they know it's the right thing. And of course, they also get rewards they get rewards. As in, if somebody does something nice, I'll be able to say, enye hapo umefanya poa. That motivates somebody. Yeah, because I know some of you, very soon, you'll join the employment market. In as much as you may go to university, some of us will still be able to work. Equally. Yeah, and you want a boss who can be able to help you to achieve your goals in a way that enables you to be successful and happy. Yeah, so we also have a lot of memorandum of understandings that have been written to ensure that whatever mind education programs are being driven in the various countries are embraced by the government officials, the institutional officials, so that at the end of the day, these people can be able to inculcate the culture of being successful and happy. Actually, believe it or not, most of us in school, I don't know whether you had that experience, but most times in school, people don't seem to enjoy school. Kasa hii shule kifunguliwa, unaona sasa ati now it's back to the difficult time. And do you know, in fact, if I would ask you a question, have you noticed how the older you grow, the harder it is to enjoy life? For example, ukiwa katoi, ungecheka, ujiangushe, urushe miguu juu, because life was so enjoyable, sindio? So why is it that life is not becoming enjoyable? Life is becoming less and less enjoyable. You're seeing now, you're finished high school, now you're about to get to college, meaning shortly you'll have a job, you'll have to move out of the house, you'll be paying your own rent. In other words, responsibilities zinaanza kufanya watu wanatishika, si ndio? But I want to tell you, if you go through mind education, you'll start going back to that place where you are enjoying life ndani ya raw. Because most of us, we are very good actors. Unacheka, meno zote 42. How many are they? There? Yeah? There are 32. I wanted a response. So now, unacheka na meno zote, ni sawa? Lakini in your heart, unacheka? Ucheki. So we've been socialized to become actors. You're acting. And I think you know this one, eh? Fake it till. Now, can you imagine, what are the chances that if you fake it, you'll make it? I'm talking about in the heart, not physically, in the heart. As in, you fake it till you're happy. As in, something has to change for you to become happy. Okay, so mind education gives you an idea of how to get to that place. Yeah, so we know when somebody has been able to understand mind education, we begin to start seeing the results. They are very plain. For example, most of us here, I don't know how good your relationship is with your father or with your mother. Okay. How many of us in the last 2 weeks have told our father that you love them? Umeambia dad yako, dad nakupenda. Anyone here? The show of hand. I can see one person, two people, 3. The rest of us are looking at you like it's a miracle. It's amazing. How do you do that? So, of course, we all know that doing some things are extremely difficult. Okay? Some of us, it's extremely difficult to tell our dad that you love him, that you appreciate him. It's extremely difficult. But then, if you go through mind education, there's a possibility something will click and you'll realize, oh, that's how I get to tell my dad that I appreciate him. Or I tell my mom. I know most of us here, if I'd ask you, how many of us tell our moms? Most of our hands will be up. Cynically. So why is it so hard to tell your dad? Now that challenge is what you'll realize what it is. Because most of us don't know. Because most of us will be saying, if I asked you, why aren't you able to tell your dad that you love him? You'll say, dad ni mtiaji. So because your dad ni mtiaji, is that sufficient ground for you not to say you appreciate him? Do you think it is? It's not. Like now, I want to believe most of us here, our dads participated in funding you through school, Sinkweli. And then, your dad also ensured that you lived in a house. Ama? Most of us, sindio? So then how then do you turn around and say, there's nothing substantial that my father has done that necessitates me to tell him that I appreciate him? Are you seeing? So because there's such a big gap, of course the question you're asking yourself, how do I bridge the gap? And I'm telling you, if you go through mind education, you'll be able to bridge it. Because we are saying success stories speak for themselves. There are people here. We have 2 groups. Kuna wase hapa, wanatafuta mabeste. You're looking for a friend. And there are some people here who friends are looking for you. Are you seeing that difference? And I think you guys have been together for a while. So you know, kuna watu wengi wanaenda kwa ule, lakini wewe, no one comes to you. What is the difference? What do you think the difference is? And don't tell me ati ako magnetic. So, I'm giving you food for thought, to realize that that person, there's something in their heart that draws people to them. In fact, a practical example. Huyo mtu mwenye watu wanaenda kwake, I can almost guarantee you, huyo mtu huwa atusiani. We can bet. Huyo mtu atusiani. Huyo mtu adharau watu. Okay, that person treats others with respect. There are very high chances. Ama namna gani? Because you'll find, mimi napenda kutusi watu. Sawa? Sana. Okay? I'm using that as an example. So, do you think I'll have many friends? Nani ataka kutusiwa? No one. Okay? Ama kuna mtu hapa anapenda kutusiwa. You know we are different. So, for that reason, it's very easy for one to tell that somebody is different once they go through mind education. Because people are drawn to them. People want to work with them. People want to give them things. Can you imagine? Mtu anataka kukupe gift. Because your mindset is different. So I told us when I started off that I'll take us through 3 things. One, what is mind education? And two, what is its origin? And three, what have they been doing in the world about mind education? Yeah, so I'm saying me, I want to be successful and happy. What about you? Thank you very much.
Let's clap for him. Actually, I loved one example of how many people tell their dads, I love you. And why don't we try a challenge or a campaign right here? Are you willing to take the challenge of the campaign? Eh? Today, we will write to our dads at least an SMS saying, you see the way people are looking at me also, including me and him, and also the viewer out there. That is, if you have a dad, if you have a mom, if you have a guardian, if you have actually someone that you truly love, why don't you try by saying, I love you, and also, thank you. Can we try? We'll try this. For sure. How many people want to try this? And then, Mr. Peter, for sure, we'll give you the response and see. Those people who try, you'll see there's a very big difference. Okay? And actually, this is what mind education is actually doing for each and every one of us. So thank you very much, Mr. Peter. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll have question and also answers from maybe the audience who are here and also our viewers back at home. 21144 is our SMS line. If you have any question, you can ask and we'll gladly respond to it. So thank you very much. Let's clap as we take a short break, and then we'll be right back. Yes, thank you very much. And today we are on Talking, and we have our guest, Peter Kimwere, who was speaking to us just before we took the short break. And it was quite a fascinating time, and especially when he said that there are some people who are looking for friends, and there are some people who friends just come to them, okay? And it all depends upon the mind education and how they actually behave before people and something like this. So this time around, he also spoke about something that mind education is a tool that bridges the gap, okay, between, in terms of relations, and also creating a path whereby our relationships can become more strongly, not based on self-centered aspects, okay, but an aspect whereby we can all share within the society, and also we can become successful and happy, irrespective of the resources or what is available for each and every one of us. So during this time, I just want to give him maybe 1 more minute to recap, and maybe also to ask him from the basis whereby he stands in terms of where he said he manages people. What would you actually say that as a country, where have we gone wrong? Because South Korea, as you said, was a very poor country, much in fact, far much poorer than Kenya. And what is it that we are doing that is making us lag behind? Or what is it that we are not doing so for us to be on the top as South Korea is?
If the mindset we had was a good one, it doesn't matter who your father is. You'll respect him, you'll honor him. Consequently, in this country, it seems, regardless of what president we have, he is never good enough. So you can imagine, if you're leading a country of people who feel you're not good enough, what are the chances, regardless of what you do, that they will think that you're doing the right thing? Extremely low. Yeah, so in Kenya, we need mind education. We don't need new leaders. We already have leaders. We need to be able to appreciate what we already have, because we have something good already, but we don't seem to think it's good enough.
problem is just we don't think it's good enough.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And it's time now for people who have a question. There's a mic that actually we have. If you have any question, anyone with a question, we can check and see. Yes, we have one question. We have another one here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Beatrice, and my question is, you're talking about South Korea making the bridge together as a people. So I wanted to ask you, people have like different characters. So in order to be happy, you need to relate with some people. But you get to find that people have different characters. I'm comfortable talking about my own character. I'm very talkative. At first sight, you can see like, oh, this girl is a good girl, you can talk to. But many times I end up saying things that I feel that I should not have said. However, I can act for some time and pretend that I'm not this talkative girl. But the character, if you live like 3 weeks, it always eventually comes out. So you get like, the first perception that people have of you is not the real perception. So when they get to like see that this is a real person, to fix the characters of two different people is somehow like difficult. So how can you deal with that so that you can work together with people from different characters?
Thank you, Beatrice, for the question. It's like asking, how are you able to enjoy all the fruits? They are so different. Yet, we tend to enjoy all of them. So, in light of your question, you're asking, how can you be able to get along, yet you're so different? It's possible if you learn. It's the same way how you learned how to enjoy the different fruits. Some of us here maybe never used to eat a banana, kitambo. But today you're eating a banana, unaeka na ingine, they mix and you eat. So it's something that you can learn. Yeah.
Okay, and for sure, as he has said, which fruit would you prefer better? Do you prefer the fruit salad or prefer one fruit?
Fruit salad.
Fruit salad.
Yes.
Okay. So the beauty about everything is that we all have different characters, as you said, and it is until we are able to appreciate the different characters. And he said something through mind education, then you learn how to cope with different characters. Okay, and especially even maybe among you, I pray that God gives you different eyes to see from different perspectives, okay? So that you don't only see from one perspective. The biggest problem will be if you only see it from one perspective. If you see it only from one perspective, then it's very bad. Like he gave an example of the fruits, and then a banana. If a banana looks at an orange, then what do you think the banana thinks? I'm better than the orange, okay? That's from only the perspective of the banana, okay? Also, when the orange sees the banana, what does the orange think? I'm better, Sindo. Hey, but what about if the orange saw from the perspective of the banana? Then they would actually exchange and they would be able to see things from very different perspectives, and actually that would be a very beautiful country, and like a fruit salad, and also as a country, that is actually the way to go in life, the same way.
Thank you.
Yes.
That you said that we should have a good relationship with our daddies. You can see some of our daddies are tough cookie. Then you go ahead and start telling your dad, "Dad, I love you." Then he's like, "What kind of nonsense is this?" So how can we cope with such a situation? Like, I'm talking from an experience, so I want to know how to cope with such a situation. Thank you.
Of course, what you've just brought out is a challenge, because you'll find the way a lot of men are socialized is to be tough and rough. But if you persist, and sometimes telling somebody you love them is not enough. You continue doing nice things. I've actually seen how if you do nice things for somebody for a long time, they'll start reciprocating. Yeah, and of course, for you as a young person, you may be feeling challenged that why should I be doing the nice things and yet he's the older one? So the approach you're taking is a very good one, because you also feel the need for him to tell you nice things. Because I'm imagining the fact that you're telling your dad that you love him and he's behaving that way is because he doesn't tell you, isn't it? So if you tell him consistently and do nice things for him, he's going to reciprocate because he's not made of steel. Yeah, so nice words, nice words, nice words, and he'll start reciprocating because that's how humans are. Yeah.
And just drawing from his example, do you know, I was brought up in the rural setup, and then there are some houses whereby you have iron sheets and then down on the pavement is like stone, the cement. If you check the raindrops that drop on that pavement, initially the pavement is always very smooth. But what about raindrops? When you check after 1 year, 2 years, how is that pavement? You'll find holes, small holes. So persistent, okay? Just one drop at a time. It seems as if it's not making sense, but check. After 1 month, 2 months, for sure there's going to be a hole, okay? Yes. So as he said, persistently kind of saying good words and, don't get tired, okay? And especially now that you have an aspect of the mind education and you know where you stand, okay? So the more you do it, actually, the more there is hope, actually, that at one day you'll see the results. Thank you.
Oh, hello. My name is Isaac. I just have some few questions to ask. Let's say few, not so many. But we'll start just one by one. Maybe you can answer what I have. So it's very difficult for, if you find a lady or a guy, to go and face the parent and tell them, you know what, Daddy, you're the best. Daddy, I love you. Because these days, there are many cases that the father, they are raping their own children. So how can you help such a child after maybe the father raped the child and it is kept far away? Nobody knew that, right? Now it's very difficult for, if you tell a girl to go and tell the parent, the dad, Dad, you're the best, I love you, right? There are so many girls, they are facing such kind of problem. What can you tell them, or how can you help them to be able to improve such situations?
Isaac, that's an interesting and challenging question. We can all agree that every situation has a specific way of addressing it once you understand it. So we know for a fact that there was an issue that has fractured this relationship. So we cannot expect such a person to go and tell their father they love them if the issue was never addressed. Yeah, so it's a bit more complicated for that person just for us to tell them that go tell your father you love them. It's a bit more complicated. Yeah, so I don't think at this point I can be able to say that it's okay for the girl to go, because already we know the girl is struggling with what happened before. So the issue has to be addressed. Yeah. Otherwise, the girl will be saying something just because she has been asked to say it, not because she feels she wants to say it. I don't know what you think, Henry.
We are looking at it from two ways, okay? There's the dad's perspective and there's also the girl's perspective. And that is why we reiterate the importance of mind education. Because what actually led to the dad, doing such kind of acts, okay? So first and foremost, even as we deal with the girl, also from the dad side, we must actually address the issue as he said. And most of the time you realize that when people keep quiet with these kind of things, even the dad himself is not in a position to go and even try and to apologize, okay? So there's a very big problem when people shut themselves and put themselves in a locked kind of room and they don't speak about these kind of things. And at the end of the day, when things actually start coming out, they come out in a very detrimental way, very bad way. And that is why the program we are talking about is talking. Okay? So let's keep talking about these things. And especially for such kind of a girl or a lady, we highly advise that she finds a mentor where she can be able to speak out her heart, okay? So through this, then at one point, and especially we believe that once you've spoken out something, in mind education we say once you've spoken out something, 80% of that problem is solved. Okay? Why 80%? 50% you've let it go, okay? And then the other 30% is because you've actually opened your heart, okay? By opening your heart, I mean now you are willing to let go, okay? And then the other 20%, now you can be able to receive guidance towards what you're going to do. So I think the biggest problem here in this instance whereby there is no conversation, there is no kind of sharing, and there's no exchange. And especially for there to be change. I usually use this example. For there to be change, there must be exchange. Okay? For there to be a kind of change, for this relationship to work best, they must exchange. Exchange what? In manner of, oh, I'm sorry. Huh? I did this, okay? Also from there, then the girl could be in a position, obviously it will take time also now to reciprocate or to actually say, okay, I also take the apology. That is from my view. Yes.
One last question. Okay, as he has said that Korea now it is so much developed. Also, in our country, we need also to be developed. So what I heard is say that we don't need the leader is not the problem. First thing, we have to change the mindset. Let's say, for example, there is so much corruption that is going on. Right now, you find that the president has ordered that such kind of a place should be built a youth center. But you find that it will take time to be able to build that the youth center. What I think sometimes many young people outside there, as I'm one of them, we normally say the country will not be moved. Why? Because if those people they don't, the government doesn't stop the corruption. For first thing, actually, this country will never move. I don't know this is my own perspective. There's many people outside there, they're saying, no, we need to choose different leaders. Every time they say we need to choose another, we need to choose another. Because many times because you have not helped me as a leader. When I go outside there, I should go and say, okay, is he good or is he bad? I don't know how maybe you can be able to advise other people from outside, because from me, I've heard from you what you've said. Maybe there are many youths outside there, they are waiting to hear such kind of thing. You cannot tell them right now that we need to change the mindset of the president, so that if the president he has changed his mindset, maybe from others they can change. What do you think that we can do to be able to improve our country, also to be able to develop the Korean?
One of the things we need to accept is it looks very easy for us to evaluate the performance of our president. But it's not as simple as that. And the reason is you'll find the information we end up getting a lot of times is different from the information that is inside there, what is happening. Okay? So, and that is why it's very easy. Today, the newspaper is saying this, tomorrow the newspaper is saying something completely opposite. So, for us as youth, you need to start thinking local. In other words, what are you doing in your own neighborhood? Because what control do you have over the president, over the deputy president, over your MCA? What control do you have? Very little. But what control do you have over improving your neighborhood? Mtaa yenu iwe safi, mtaa yenu hakuna ngeta. You have some influence, isn't it? So if you can be able to change your small area where you live, then there is hope for this nation. Yeah, because when you look at our president, it's very easy for us to think that they're not doing what they should be doing. But we do not know the whole story. And because of mind education, we live with hope, knowing that there's no one who wants to take a job so that he can spoil things for others. No one. I can almost give you a guarantee. There is no one who takes a job intending to spoil things for others. So can you imagine, with such an important job like the president, do you think our president wants to spoil our country? Absolutely not. So one of the things that we need to also appreciate is, from what we see, it seems as if there are some people who sabotage our country. It seems, okay. But now let's move from there, because we don't know the real story. We don't. So let's move from there and focus our eyes on our neighborhoods, where we have influence. Because there's a possibility that we can be able to make changes that can help people. And do you know, if you make changes in your neighborhood that can help people, you can be able to increase your sphere of influence to an extent that more and more people are benefiting from you, isn't it? Yeah, so if you look at it that way, there are chances of us changing our nation. Thank you.
Yes, and I'd love to take you 20 years back. 20 years back, maybe there was a debate like this, and then they said the youth will be the leaders of tomorrow. I'm 100% sure there was a debate like this 20 years back, saying that the youth will be the leaders of tomorrow. I also tell you with all confidence that you are the leaders of this country. Okay? So 10 years, 5 years, I don't know, 20 years from now, when you get to those positions, CEOs, MCAs, governors, senators, I believe I'm also talking to a presidential candidate here, then how is it going to be? Will you have the same mindset as we had long time ago, or will you adapt to have the right and strong mindset? Okay? This is the biggest difference that is actually there. And as you spoke, it may take some time to bear the fruits of this mind education, but we will keep moving. We will keep moving, okay? We believe that a changed mind leads to a changed life, okay? And a changed life then is a changed world, okay? So it begins from me changing my mind, changing my life. Then I will influence another person to also change their mind and change their life, okay? Then through that, one day, the whole of the country will stand somewhere and say, we are a changed country, okay? So actually that is it, and I would love us to end the show here, but I don't want to end until I get at least one view, and especially if there's a person who is doing something towards the community and the society. If there's one, and you have such kind of views, and you'd really love, you know, and especially right now, the president has also launched something called Huduma Halisi, sindio? Yeah, who are those people who are out there doing things? And we're also looking for success stories to actually amplify that these people are doing something positive within the society. So is there any one person of that kind who is here and would love even to give their views and what they're doing? Yes? Yes.
For me, I'm a presenter, and I also normally talk to the youth. So that's why, actually, I'm so happy, and thank you so much. I've listened to whatever you said, and when I go back there, also, I'll tell my youth also. So actually, what I think or what I see is for us to start changing, I think from the leaders also is we should start changing. Because one thing I believe is that when we young people, when we see whatever the leader is doing, that's what we are going to follow. You know, when Mr. President once said, before he became the president, he said, this Kenya will be led by youth. But many of the young people who are taken to the government, they started getting some money out of the government. So then he said, I will remove this youth, and the next thing I will do, I'll put somebody who is old. Because somebody who is old, he's wiser than we are. So I think from that, we should learn from the high post. So from the high post, if they change, we get to change also. So many times when I address the youth, I tell them like that. So thank you so much. My name is Isaac. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and Mr. Isaac. So we take this chance. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for having come to also speak with us out of your busy schedule. You also took your time to come and speak about this, the way actually the country can be able to move and step forward. So also thank you very much for attending. I hope you've enjoyed. For the viewers out there, thank you also for keeping in touch on GBS TV. Remember 21144 is our SMS line. On Facebook, GBS TV Kenya. Also on YouTube, the same GBS TV Kenya. Like, subscribe, and same until next time, same place with more fascinating, and it can only get more better each and every day. So thank you very much, and let's say bye to the viewers out there. Thank you so much. Kwaherini. Thank you.